Hello. Welcome, YouTube people, to my car. Her name is Weibo. Anyway, I've been wanting to do a video about my spirituality or whatever. And the kind of evolution of it throughout my life. I think my family tried to raise me as a Christian. They weren't super religious. I remember some kid asking me if I was Christian, and I was like, what's that? I don't know, I was like 5 or some shit. So my mom got into AA, and a big part of that is, giving your power to God and putting it in God's hands. At that time, definitely a bit more religious, just because of that influence. After my mom died, I was kind of agnostic. Willing to give up the Christianity, but I'm not going full atheist because what happens? We just don't exist. Don't know how long I was in that mode, but into like high school and college, I was very much atheist. Science, the universe, and I was one of those people who would get into arguments in real life and on the internet about the existence of God and how stupid people were for believing in God, and like, what about all this scientific evidence where there's no evidence of God, so it can't be real if I cannot measure it or see it. If it cannot be measured or seen, then it's not real. Like, maybe within the last year, one of the last conversations I had with my dad, he just kept insisting, there's something after this. There's something after this. And I was like, okay, Dad. And he wanted me to look up this video of this preacher who was talking about, science stuff, galaxies and all that. And I was like, yeah, Dad, this is all real, and it just seems like this preacher guy is commandeering it all to be like, oh, God made all this, which was, fine. I was like, this is acceptable, it's actually teaching people science, so I can't be against that. I always had this sense of not wanting to shake my grandma's faith. She went through some shit, and getting closer to God really helped her, and my grandma is a light in the darkness. She adopted us after my mom died. She's legally my mother. Anyway, I never wanted to shake her faith. Whenever I was arguing with my uncle or whoever about how God isn't real, I wouldn't argue with my grandma about it, because I know her faith gives her strength, and she's one of the strongest people I know. And I would not do that, because it was her daughter that died, among other reasons. I don't want to shake her faith. Anyway, so yeah, I watched that video that my dad suggested, and I remember talking to him about that, and I was like, oh cool, it's, at least they're educating people about science. The last time I saw my dad was on my birthday last year, my 32nd birthday. He kept saying, I remember being 32. That was the year I started smoking. I remember when I was 32. My ex had, their friends had gotten them into tarot a little bit. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I went and bought a tarot deck. Yeah, I was messing around with those, and I was mostly like, oh, I don't know what this is. I don't know what the cards mean. I don't, I just was doing a daily card pull in the morning. I kept getting the devil a lot, which is about addictions and obsessions and whatnot. Kind of the message I was getting was you know what you need to let go of. And, I was thinking about weed, but also the relationship I was in was very toxic. That's a subject for another video. I've definitely been toxic, considerably less so as time's gone Anyway, I didn't want to believe that, it was suggesting that I needed to let go of my relationship. But then my dad died, and I suddenly felt stronger. I didn't always know where to find my dad. He was always getting a new cell phone number, and like I could not tell you where he was living. He was just all over the place. He was on the 405. He was out, in SoCal somewhere. But after he died, this is my dad. After he died, I just had this, I don't know if stillness is the right word, but this sense of having a backbone, of like, I felt like he had my back in spirit. And I was like, that was weird for me because I wasn't into that. And then, I know as time went on, I ended up ending that relationship. Things got exponentially better in my life. I kept having these moments with these tarot cards, and not just tarot cards, but like oracle cards, where I'd be like pulling essentially the equivalent card from multiple, from different decks, starting to watch YouTube readings, and thinking that there was like a conspiracy on YouTube with all the tarot readers because they're all talking about the same thing and it sounds like my story. And I'm like, there can't be a conspiracy this pervasive. That doesn't make sense. That's not logical. When I'm pulling cards, I'm pulling the cards that they're pulling, and it's like the same story, and I'm like, what the hell? Just having profound moments that I was like, this is weird, man. This is awkward. This is weird. I don't understand what's going on here, because like I'm not part of the YouTube conspiracy in Tarotland. Just having almost unexplainable moments, Yeah, sure, probability, whatever. But the tarot definitely was the start of my spiritual journey or whatever. And that was like September, October. Yeah. Anyway, I would definitely consider myself spiritual now. I have a knowing, and it's not explainable, but I have an inherent knowing about things, and I don't know, I don't know. Like my, I'm not gonna say that part. That's secret information. So all one is, that came to me, and then I was like, that's what I call God. I don't know a lot about all the religions, even though I took a class in college, but that's what I call God, all one. And that's connected to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And now we're learning alchemy, and the first lesson is, what is the meaning of all is one and one is all? I encourage you to watch that show. Let me know what you think. I always come out of a trip with like some little lesson or greater knowledge, and one of them was like, everything is connected. And then another one was, we are all the same and constantly changing. That was definitely the acid. We are all the same and constantly changing. And everything is interconnected. There is a binding that holds everything together. And, learning about like quantum stuff now, quantum mechanics, about a particle on this side of the universe affecting a particle on the other side of the universe, and how does that work? I don't know if I'm making any sense. So to the here and now, my beliefs. I am you, and you are me. There's a video called The Egg, I think. I'll share a link to that, I guess. Just about, you know, every person you interact with is potentially you on another timeline. That's a good basis for treating people with respect and consideration and, I don't know, having integrity and, I don't know, just trying to be a good person. Be a good fucking person. Be good to people. Like, and that's honestly, like, that's not, to me, that's not a good reason to treat people good. Like, oh, that's me in another life. That, you just, why? Just be good. Just be good to people. It's not, I don't see what the problem is. I used to have a problem with that because, you know, trauma or whatever, toxicity. But yeah. So, what do I believe? I believe God is here in the bushes, in the earth, within every person. I don't see a sky god with a beard. I don't really envision like a single entity. Like, God is everything. It is the collective and the individual. It is the duality of, you know, masculine and feminine. It encompasses all things. I don't think God cares what you call it. It's more about the principle and the values of being good to people. Like, God is love. God is good. You know, I'm not Christian. I feel like I might have identified as like Buddhist for a short time. Being a good person. And I've been, you know, I've been going after that ideal. I think the first video I made, it was like, I was talking about how your intentions don't really fucking matter as long as you are showing up as a good person. It's like 6 months later and I don't believe that anymore. It's a big relationship thing. Like your intention versus how you show up and how you know, make that work. I don't know everything, obviously. I'm just a human. But yeah, I don't understand why it's so hard for people to just be good. And anybody attacking other people, you know, clearly they got the wrong fucking idea. Dude, you think that person's an asshole, just stay away from them. You know, all this time you're spending bashing this person, that's time you could be spending on yourself to make yourself better and improve yourself. And trying to feel better about being alive and dealing with the world. Work on yourself. Don't attack other people. Don't steal people's shit. I don't get it. Yeah. I've been through some shit, you guys. I've been through some shit. My childhood was not great. My adolescence, it was not great. My 20s, you know, a bit of improvement there. But I'm gonna be 33 next month, and I finally feel at peace. I finally feel like I want to be here. Just be good. Be good at it. Why is it hard to be an honest person, you know? I don't think it is. I'm not ashamed of anything in my life because, you know, I grew out of it. I know I've been shitty. I know I've been abusive. I know I've been toxic. But I am not that person anymore. So it's like I don't have shame about it. You know, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that ever again. And I want good things for people. So, I don't know.